Welcome back to the Khalifa International Tennis Complex, the centre court here in Doha, the opening day of the 2012 Qatar ExxonMobil Open. It's Guy McCree in the commentary box here again with you. Jason Goodall's rejoined me. We're mixing things up, yourself and Barry Cowan. Barry will be courtside to start with this new
have the net machine and the Hawkeye 3+1
level, the strand of analysis. So enjoyed it. Joined us in the first match, Andreas Seppi, his win earlier on over Lukas Kubot. The one match completed here on the centre court so far. It's number 2 of 4 matches we're bringing you here. Later on, followed straight on Alex Bogomolov Jr. of Russia against Filippo Valentri of Italy, and then it's Benjamin Becker against Igor Kanitsin. But this one is our priority for the moment. Lukas Rosol against the 5th seed from Serbia, Viktor Troicki. Draw for you. We're concentrating on the bottom half earlier on. This is the top half of this 32-man draw. You can see the bottom of the top half, so to speak, Rosol and Troicki, and they'll face a qualifier next up, the winner. Qualifier drawing a qualifier.
Yeah, they finished the qualies earlier today on the outside courts, so a golden opportunity for those that have been battling throughout the course of the weekend to make it through to the second round. Good start of the year.
Just been completed that qualifying tournament. We will bring you an updated draw later on. Rosol of the Czech Republic, something of a late bloomer, turned pro over 2004. He's been around a little while. It's the point I'm trying to make. Still hasn't won a career title, but moving his way up right now, up around 60, 70 on the rankings. As we can see, they're 26 years of age now.
Yeah, he's done well because he's been one of those guys that's had to grind it out a little bit, do well in the challenges. That's what most of the players have to do. Very few can make it straight to the top and spend most of their time playing on the ATP World Tour. And he did he had a lot of success, rather, on the Challenger circuit last year, and he's now the 3rd-ranked player in the Czech Republic behind Berdych and Stepanek, so that's no mean feat. Had a lot of success, those two, down the years, especially Berdych, of course, in the last 2 or 3 seasons. And, of course, it's always nice to have guys like that to rub shoulders with. Davis Cup team, and when you're practicing back home, you see those guys doing well, and you think, well, why can't I do that too? But he's done it the hard way, won a lot of matches at Challenger level, and, of course, it would be great if he was able to get a few wins under his belt at this level early on this season to increase the confidence and, of course, improve the ranking, and that would allow him to play most of the year on the ATP World Tour.
Yeah. There are harder things to do in life than that. It's a nice lifestyle. Viktor Troicki, one of these Serbians, trio of Serbians. People talk about Djokovic, Tipsarevic, but he's very much part of the conversation as well, in and around the top 20 in the world, ranked 22 now, but has been a bit higher, 12 just after the French Open, I believe, last year. And yeah, a man firmly on the rise.
Very powerful player, very talented individual, but a little suspect emotionally. And I think that's been the problem when you talk about are you going to be able to break into the top 10? Tipsarevic, of course, got a match in the year-end championships last year after a fantastic season. Djokovic has been at the top of the game now for a while. But I think it's hard for someone like Troicki to rub shoulders with the very best players in the world on a regular basis because his game's a little too up and down. There are holes in his game. The forehand can be big, but it can make a lot of unforced errors off that particular wing. The backhand is a little more solid. The serve is huge. Got a big first serve, good kicker of a second serve. Doesn't come in a great deal. Doesn't have particularly good hands when he does surge forwards. So a little one-dimensional. And when he does get down on himself, when things aren't quite going according to plan, very rarely is he able to dig deep, turn to plan B, and find a way of getting the job done. So that's been the problem as far as he's concerned.
No previous head-to-head history to speak of here between these two, meeting for the first time on the ATP World Tour here this evening, here in Doha. Mohamed El Jannati chairing this one for us.
Barry Cowan, courtside. Barry, just want to touch base with you because, it's a couple of hours since we started playing. It was a beautiful sunny day at that stage. Sun's gone down now, so I'm presuming it's a lot cooler down there. And if so, how do you think that will affect play for these two?
Well, Jason, I'm a lot warmer now because I've got a jacket on, so I feel a little bit more comfortable. I think it's nice conditions, and yeah, the wind probably is dropped a little bit from the end of certainly the first set with the previous match, but it's still nice conditions to play in. And there's Jan de Witt, who's Troicki's coach, has been with Troicki for a while and actually coaches quite a few players on the tour. Also works with Christopher Cass, who he said is going to have a big year in doubles. So he'll hope his singles man will also have a big year.
Yeah, what do you think, Barry, about Troicki and his ability to move up the rankings? How did you see 2011 as far as he was concerned, and what do you see that he's got in prospect as far as this season's concerned?
I suppose with that question, Jason, you want an honest answer. And
definitely.
Well, I think he's peaked. I think by him getting to what was around the top 10, I thought it was an unbelievable effort last year, and I just feel that, I agree with you, that he's slightly one-dimensional. I just feel he needs to add a couple of extra areas to his game. I don't think he comes in anywhere near enough. And I just feel he doesn't have the sort of dexterity in the hands that I think you need if you are going to be amongst the top 15 on a consistent basis. But what he may lack in those areas, he certainly doesn't lack in speed around the court and also heart. He's got plenty of that.
We saw plenty of heart as well, didn't we? Davis Cup, we go back to that. If you think his upward rise in the rankings that you're referring to there, I mean, it was kind of started in a sense, as it is for so many people, by a good Davis Cup final. And that performance to win the Davis Cup for Serbia as Troicki did 2010.
Yeah, it really helps, doesn't it, when you get a huge lift like that and allow Djokovic to go on and have one of the best seasons that we've ever seen in this particular sport. And Troicki, of course, is riding on his coattails, as was Tipsarevic. So that really was the catalyst for these three players to enjoy fantastic seasons.
Second match of the opening day here on the centre court. Lukas Rosol of the Czech Republic, 26 years old, up against the 5th seed, Viktor Troicki of Serbia. Second of 4 matches we're bringing you here live and in their entirety. The Khalifa International Tennis Complex, what a setting this is. They really do think of everything.
First set, Lukas Rosol, serve.
The Czech Lukas Rosol then to get us underway here in this second match of the day.
Of course, all the Serbs are pretty good buddies. Tipsarevic and Djokovic holidayed together, didn't they, in the Maldives, off the back of year-end championships at the O2 Arena. I think Troicki would be a little disappointed he didn't get the call there. Maldives are nice in November, December. Maybe he's not in the circle of trust.
Quite possibly. Nothing wrong with that shot, though, from Rosol.
Yeah, I watched him play last year. Lost to Karlovic here in a couple of really tight sets. Both were tie breaks. He's a good player. He's got a good serve. Tall. Many of the players in the stage are a good athlete. You know, he's not short on confidence either. He's won a lot of matches in the last 10, 11 months or so. Now he's got to make the step up from challengers to the ATP World Tour.
Game, Rosol.
It's a very impressive opening game from this 26-year-old. Holding serve first up.
I think when you're 26, you're pretty much at the peak of your powers, aren't you? Tennis players, 25, 26, 27. He's got a wealth of experience to draw upon it. And crucially, he'll be hungry enough to really want to make that step up. You know, when you first start playing in your late teens, early 20s, it's all very new to you. But, you know, after you've spent a few years on the Challenger circuit, you know, you've seen enough of that. And you want a taste of life at the very top of the game. So I think he'll be extremely hungry to make the most of this advantageous position he finds himself in at the beginning of the season with a pretty decent ranking of, what, 70 in the world.
Troicki unhappy with something.
Yeah, sometimes with the balls, they can get stuck in the flower beds at the side of the court, or there's lots of nooks and crannies behind the linesman's chairs. So sometimes you do get an odd ball at the beginning of a match, and you've just got to be aware that the players obviously are. They always like the balls to be as new as they possibly can, travel to the edge that little bit quicker, especially if you're serving. You're always trying to get the two newest balls to play the next point with. It's got a funky service motion. You won't find it in any of the technical tennis books.
It's a bit jerky, isn't it? Kind of goes up and...
But very effective.
Yeah, yeah. Particularly the first ball is... got that done somehow.
Yeah, he doesn't have the best hands in the world, as Barry was mentioning earlier. But I would like to see him come forward more, and if he hit a decent approach shot, you know, more often than not, the volley should be relatively simple, but he made a bit of a meal of that, but got away with it in the end.
Next, 2-6.
Shot that. It was interesting when I was sat courtside in the first match. I really noticed how low the ball bounces when you hit it with heavy slice. It kicks up when you hit with a bit of topspin, but that kind of approach shot can be very, very effective. Very tough to pass when the ball's 6-8 inches off the court surface. Mr. Troicki's challenging Polo on right base. The ball's
challenge called. Let's see which way this one goes.
How did you see it there, bud?
It's again, it's as you say, it's that line.
Don't make excuses. How did you see it?
It's that line beneath this position. You're peering down. I don't want to put my head on the block. It's very close. That's my point.
Oh,
look.
They're all very close.
Well, there was a little confusion because the umpire actually said that Troicki challenged the call when it wasn't Troicki. It was actually Rosol who challenged it. So that's why umpire Mohamed Yelneti got confused with the scoreline. So he's a little rusty with his first match of the year.
Oh, well, we'll forgive him, won't we, Barry? One game all now.
Love 18.
One of the things, Guy, it's very important to do when you arrive here in Doha is practice at the appropriate time. It's very easy to get suckered into playing in the morning and the afternoon because the sun's out, it's beautiful. You know, we can't get enough of it coming from Europe. But all the matches here are played in the evening and the conditions are very different then. Qualify for the main draw. You know, it's important that you understand that the court is going to slow up a little bit, and especially, you know, if you're playing third or fourth match on and the matches go long, it can get decidedly chilly. You know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the evening, and very different to playing in the heat of the day.
Yeah, first match starting 3:30 local in the afternoon, just to illustrate Jason's point there.
15-40.
Jason, what normally happens with Nadal and Federer? Do they practice in the daytime because Australia's in their mindset, or are they focused on this week?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, Barry, isn't it? You've got one eye on the first Grand Slam of the year, but I think also, you know, you've got to take care of business this week to build up your confidence, haven't you?
Troicki.
The initiative going away of the serve. Quick break.
Troicki leads
2-1 the lead for Troicki here in the opening set of this one.
Start, I guess, when you're in the early stages of any match. What you want to do is serve well enough to hold your own deal, and any opportunities you get to break, you make the most of. And very important for, I don't know what your ranking is, for all the players to start relatively well. You have a poor match here, lose first round. Some of the high-ranked players, like Troicki, might not play much more tennis before the start of the Australian Open, and then you always need a couple of matches under your belt, as opposed to feeling good going into those matches at the start of the Grand Slam. That's why, you know, this time of the year is quite unique.
A few people inside here, it's not full by any means. I'm sure what they've seen so far. Good start here from Viktor Troicki. Early break. Can he rubber stamp it? 2-1 serving first set.
Just smothering that one a little bit. In that respect, both have similar forehands. Don't quite have the extension through the ball that they have on their backhands.
We're going to inspect the mark there.
190k. He's pretty decent, but he can get it up around the 220, 230 mark if he really wants to. The balls do leave a mark, so the players like to inspect that before deciding whether to challenge or not.
Challenge. It felt like it might have caught some of the line, that one.
Well, the players of any of the lines should have a really good sighting of that one. But sometimes, because your body's moving to the left, you can see it through rose-tinted glasses, as he did there.
40 love.
That's why I don't make predictions, because I get them wrong.
game.
Big serving for Troicki in that game in particular. Minimum of fuss. Understanding the break. 3-1 the lead.
And it's such an advantage, isn't it, Guy, when you can have service games like that. All the pressure's back on your opponent, throwing the balls down the other end of the court very quickly on. And Rosol, already a breakdown, having to fight hard to hold another service game.
Mr. Rosol charging a call on right base.
Just stop play. Thinks it's gone beyond the baseline there, Rosol.
Sometimes tough for the linesperson to see the ball clearly when it's half volleyed. You don't have a lot of time. I thought that was just deep. Yeah, I'm 1 for 1 today. Sweet.
15 love. Love.
Yeah, Barry, just give us a little bit of feedback in terms of pace and weight of shot as far as these two are concerned.
They're both hitting the ball very hard, actually, and I've been impressed by Rosol. I think he's got talent, and I don't see any reason why he can't get higher than his current ranking of 70. But it was a soft service game in many ways for him to lose.
Pretty decent point to end off the game. Rosol happy with that. Loves service game. Just stays one break of serve down.
Troicki leads 3 games to 2.
Yeah, he's a very talented individual. There's no question about it. Watched him play at this very event last year. It was the only match that I saw him play live. And he does have a good all-round game. Here's a good example. Lovely feel there at the net. It's a very, very difficult shot to pull off that, because if you under-hit it, you can end up in hospital. And of course, it's so very easy to overcompensate and hit that a little deep. And no chance there for Troicki to stay in the rally, but he's got a complete game. He's got a good serve on him. He's pretty decent from the back of the court. If he can keep coming forwards at the right time, he's got decent enough hands to be able to play some good all-court tennis. And I agree with Barry. I think there's an excellent opportunity for improvement, but it makes a big difference if you can get off to a decent start. Wins a couple of matches here, gets a good draw at the Australian Open, and before you know it, he's going into the European indoor season and heading into Indian Wells and Miami full of confidence, with the ranking going in the right direction.
Just the one break of serve so far. Good opening to this one, almost a quarter of an hour played. Troicki 3-2 opening set.
Love.
Fantastic stuff. Ripping it away there to fine effect.
Especially when you consider what happened on the previous point where he missed the forehand. So looking good on the rebound here. The approach was just a little short, but only just. Troicki's sussed the fact that that forehand is just a little brittle at the moment. Yeah, a lot of unforced errors off that particular wing. 8 already.
Yeah, Jason, you're talking about the forehand. Personally, technically, I don't like it. I think it's very flat. So when he's hot and he's feeling the ball well, I think he can make a lot of winners. But if he's just not quite at the top of his game, as we've seen already with the stats, a lot of unforced errors. You look at all the great players today; they all hit their forehand with a little bit of spin.
Yeah, there's no question that when things do connect, as on that shot, you can have spectacular results because it is a little flat. You can generate a lot of pace, but the timing has to be absolutely perfect. And having already made 8 unforced errors off that particular wing, you're absolutely right, Barry. You know, that thing hasn't held up so far, and it's going to cause him problems.
Yeah, still a break of serve in front. Troicki 4-2 the lead.
Troicki leads 4 games to 2.
How's your forehand guy? You've got a little bit of topspin on there, as
Yeah,
no,
it's interesting. No, it's percentage, isn't it, ultimately? I was thinking of people who don't. Robin Söderling, who's obviously, you know, has had such a bad run with illness and injuries and that sort of thing over the past year. He hits pretty flat, but there aren't many, are there?
No, I think players are so good in this day and age of being able to hit aggressively, but with just enough spin for it to be consistent as well. You can do both with the strings and the rackets that the players use now. Wasn't always the case before in past generations, but it is now.
Seizes on the miss hit there.
That was a good example from Troicki. It's an aggressive forehand, it's short, and the mistake that a lot of players make, especially at club level, is to hit this one hard and flat and to hit down on it. Watch Troicki brush up the back of the ball. So he's still getting some nice elevation over the net, but it's still an aggressive shot.
No, it's funny because you made the point at the beginning, Troicki's forehand can be a bit in and out, but I think you see here a bit more consistency about him, and that explains the rise in the rankings because he brought that a bit to his game a bit more last year. Yeah,
and I think it breaks down more when he's playing slightly better players. They put him under more pressure, and that's when you start to see the holes in his game. And today he's realised that he doesn't need to play his very best tennis, so he's in third gear at the moment. He's not choosing to hit the ball too hard. He's been relatively consistent, and it's been enough for him to be able to lead 4-2, but against better players, when he just tries to redline his game a little bit, that's when the problems occur.
Big point that for the Czech, which has gone against him. Real opportunity this for Troicki to go 2 breaks clear. Well saved. Under real pressure there, Rosol, stepping up.
Juice.
I think one of the tactics that a lot of players use against Troicki is try and get him moving wide at that single sideline. So if you can create a little bit of an angle, as Rosol did there, that can work well. And a similar scenario there. If you can get him moving the full width of the court, he's not the most nimble of athletes. So again, if you can think about your patterns of play and you can open up the court, you know, nice 1-2 punch here, wide, and then using the line to good effect, you can put pressure on Troicki.
It's funny, I had in my notes that Lukas Rosol had him at 6'5". That looks about right. It's from the ATP notes from last year.
That's always dodgy then.
178 pounds. That doesn't seem quite right.
No.
Wonder if they've updated it. I haven't actually had a look at the new book that we're given.
Yeah,
it
they
being the
tend
first
to
week of the
update
year.
those things regularly enough. And we're always truthful either, the players. I mean, I know Ron down there has been 5'4", but we know that that's a good 2 or 3 inches taller than he actually is.
That's a close one. He may well challenge.
Why not? On the right knee.
Has to really here. Position he's in.
Troicki's not so sure. He's hanging around a baseline now. It's always a pretty good indication. He's not sure. Yeah, that's why. I think you get a good response, don't you, from the player's body language. If he was marching towards the chair there, he would have thought that was definitely out. But you could tell that. Good challenge.
Point to be replayed then. Still break point for the Serb. That was easy on the eye. Lengthy one goes the way of Rosol.
He hit the forehand better there, didn't he?
Advantage Rosol.
Able to make 2, 3, 4 in a row. And also able to put Troicki under pressure on his weaker shot. So also the forehand.
Turning into a huge game, this one for the Czech.
His game there, lack of mobility when he's forced really wide. He made a good adjustment when the ball clipped the top of the net. Sometimes you can get a bit stuck there, but didn't look particularly comfortable moving to the backhand. The best movers in the world would have been able to take that one with an open stance and still use the double-hander there. And he was really
Again, Rosol.
It's a very good hold. It could turn out to be a very important one. It was in this opening set. Keeps it to just the one break of serve advantage for Troicki, who leads 4 games to 3 now.
Yeah, as I was watching Rosol and the way he plays and the forehand not being as good as the backhand, sort of, you think of most of the Czech players, that is often the case, and it's amazing how some countries sort of identify with certain game styles. The Italians, most of them have terrible serves, but are good from the back of the court.
I think you're right. I think one player that springs to mind, perhaps the exact opposite of that, would be Ivan Lendl, and we're going to be seeing a little more of him on the tour. What do you make of that appointment there, Barry?
Well, I was surprised, Jason. Not that Andy's decided to hire Lendl, but the timing. 31st of December. I would have thought the natural timing for that would have been at the end of the season when the O2 finished, but I gather that Ivan will be there for the 4 Grand Slams and a few of the Masters events.
Apparently a couple of meetings in Miami to firm that up when he was training there in that training block.
It's so important to do a lot of the work before you get to the venue, before you get to the tournament.
New balls for Viktor Troicki. 4-3, first set.
Love.
He's not reading the serve at all. He's not reacting there. It's one thing to be beaten by an ace, but at least you should be moving in that direction. When you're not, it's really worrying.
Fortulov.
Gets very lucky indeed there, the Serb. But he'll take it all the same. Another service game and moves a little closer to this opening set now at 5-3.
That's a pattern of play that I really like. Against a lot of players, but particularly Troicki. If you can get wide with that slider, you're going to have an awful lot of court to make good use of in the first shot of the rally.
I
don't understand that shot at all. He's having problems with his forehand, and now he's showboating. You know, it's 5-3 down first set.
Very good indeed after the previous shot as well. He then comes out with that.
But a whole different ball game, isn't it, on the backhand? See how he was able to hit through the ball, full extension, and lovely disguise on both the cross court and the down the line.
40-15.
Rosol. Bit of everything in that game. But most importantly, Rosol gets it done. Forces Troicki to serve out this opening set now at 5-4.
Barry, we often talk about really good athletes having a big advantage in the game in this day and age. And often we've seen very tall players move a lot better than they ever used to. But what do you make of Troicki's movement there courtside? Do you still feel that sometimes it's a little leaden-footed?
Fascinating actually listening to you, Jason, because I feel that Troicki is a great athlete. He really is. You see him slide a lot. You see him almost do the splits at times. But I think what lets him down is he doesn't have the hand skills when on the stretch. And in my mind, springs to mind that people like Federer, people like Nadal, people like Djokovic, people like Murray, who are the best, and they're able to somehow manufacture difficult shots where Troicki, it's almost preset what he's looking to do. And I think that's an area that he can, or can he improve? Probably not, but certainly he's an area that he can work on.
It's difficult to do it at this late stage in his career, isn't it?
Time.
Just over half an hour played. One break of serve so far. Crucially, it's gone the way of Troicki. He's held on to it thus far. Can he do so for another game and close out this set? Serving for it, 5-4.
Net. First serve. First service.
I don't think his mic was working there initially. Didn't hear the umpire call net, but he did. There's no question about it.
Love 15.
He's got a good squad of players that he works with. A very experienced coach too. With, good knowledge.
It's big. It's a little quicker than on the radar. 202 Ks.
It's a well-used excuse, that, isn't it? I'm sure that serve is a lot bigger than it's reading down there. I know I use it a lot.
30-15.
Lay off.
Nice feel. It's not something that he's renowned for, but choosing the right shot at the right time there. He served well in this opening set. Hasn't necessarily got as many first serves as he would have wanted. 11 of 22, 50%, but he's made and won 11 of 12 points. Yeah, that's outstanding.
2 set points. Oh, it's a beautiful way to finish it off. Taking the set there, Viktor Troicki. Just one break of serve enough for him. He's won it 6 games to 4 in 34 minutes, the serve.
Yeah, good set of tennis. Can't argue with that. It all starts with the serve as far as Troicki's concerned. Made 54% of first serves, 13 of 24, but in hugely impressive numbers when that first serve found its mark, winning 12 of 13 points there. And he defended his second serve well. We talked about the fact that he's got a good kicker. It gets up off this court. It's very, very difficult for Rosol to be aggressive there. And Troicki won 8 of 11 points when he was down to his slightly weaker offering. Nice ratio of winners to unforced errors as well. 12 of the former and just 7 of the latter. Didn't come in very often, but when he did, he was effective enough. And of course, it's all about playing the big points well. He converted 1 of his 3 break points. That was the difference between the two. Rosol nowhere near breaking Troicki's serve.
Law 15. Law 15.
That one. This really is pretty loose from Rosol. Frustrated figure as he slips 3 break points down. He was not a lot between them in that opening set. this is loose, this game so far. He's dug himself a real hole. Poor game, if truth be told, from Lukas Rosol. Surrenders serve immediately at the start of the second. Troicki in charge here. A set and 1-love to the good. Just changing things over here in the commentary box. Still Guy McCree here with you. Barry Cowan making his way up. Jason Goodall doing a musical chairs act at the moment. It'll be Jason down there courtside for this second set in a few moments' time. Things going very well indeed for Viktor Troicki. 2 cents, just playing within himself. He had that few brief moments when he served for the opening set where he just had to raise it a bit, but other than that, he has been the more consistent and just more measured player.
Love. 15-all.
Another mistake on the forehand side. Why was he going for that one? Superb. Taking advantage of Troicki giving him a few gifts in this game. Great chance this, Rosol. His first break points of the match to get straight back on terms in set number 2. Fine ending to that game. Troicki led him in. And once he was let in, Rosol just took full advantage. Breaks straight back. 1 game all second set.
Yeah, I love the way that Rosol made the adjustment there. Just started taking the ball just a little bit earlier. When he takes it on the rise, takes time away from Troicki, and of course allows him to dominate more of the rallies. That was a really good game there.
Stay at this level for as long as he can, play as many matches. I think he'll start to feel a lot more comfortable, because at the moment he just doesn't quite get the balance right. I feel the shots are there. Certainly can get enough free points off the first serve.
Purple patch.
Courtside to the commentary box, which is up high behind the court. The forehand looks even more from this position like Stepanek.
It's about to say a little bit like Stepanek there on his approach, picking that one up. But unfortunately for him, it was called wide, although he's challenging it. just drifted wide.
Stands. Game, Rosol.
Nice there for Rosol, who leads now on serve, back from a breakdown to lead 2-1. Still
Rosol
easy to set to the good, of course.
Yeah, Barry, I was just picking up on your point about Stepanek's forehand, and again, he's so much better, isn't he, when he's been aggressive, when he's taking the ball on, fully committing to the shot. As soon as he starts backing off that forehand a little bit, he's going to make a lot of unforced errors. And I think it's the same with Rosol. In the beginning of this second set, we've seen him move up the court, take the ball on, be fully committed to it. And I think he's going to hit that shot a lot better when he does that, just like Stepanek.
That wasn't toothpaste he was having a change of hands, was it?
Discussions with Mohamed El Jannati, who telling the story earlier. I'm not sure it's picked up on mic, but if it wasn't, I want to reiterate it again. It played an important part in your career, El Jannati.
Yeah, I umpired my first professional match in Morocco. It was an experience. It was actually with Tim Hemmer. We were travelling together. We were both out of juniors. A lovely guy, and it's nice for him to be able to make it to the top. You know, like the players, the umpires always strive to umpire on the biggest stage, and he's been able to do that in the last couple of years.
Time.
I think that was nice. He still talks to me anyway, so.
A break of serve apiece so far in the second set. Troicki breaking immediately, but broken straight back. Now 1-2 down on serve here. Just signs that Rosol is getting it together a bit more consistently. Put the mockers on it. That point was anything to go by, but no, just a few signs there the last couple of games, really playing to his strengths.
Well, I hope that was a miss hit, that return, and he wasn't looking to be as aggressive as it certainly appeared to be. You know, I think you have to pay respects to the quality of your opponent's serve sometimes. And when you're playing Troicki, try and get the ball back into play down the middle, then start the point. Now, sometimes that can be a slight negative, as he looked to do there on the second serve. That was unintentional, but because he doesn't move as well as some of the top guys, he finds it more difficult to defend from the back of the court.
Nicely done. Very easy service game there for Troicki to level the scores, just what he would have wanted.
That's a good comeback game from the Serbian number 3. Such a small country, but they've been able to produce great players in the men's and women's tour.
Yeah, 2 currently in the top 10, of course, the world number 1, and Janka Tipsarevic there, and Troicki's been inside the top 20, currently at 22.
We're talking the comparisons with, you know, the forehand, the Stepanek forehand as opposed to Rosol. There, Rosol missed it, but if that had been Stepanek, he would have hit that shot and then taken at least 1, probably 2 steps forward.
It's the mentality of players, isn't it? I mean, that's the problem. I think most people would agree with you. You're right in that respect. But it's trying to, in the modern game, trying to get people to do that. Because Stepanek, at the end of the day, is a fair bit older than these 2 guys.
Well, it is. You're exactly right, Guy. The modern day type of player doesn't like to get past. But of course, you don't have to come to the net. You just take a couple of steps forward. That's why I'm a big believer, actually. It'll be interesting to see what Jason feels. I'm a big believer that the game will go full circles. Will it go back to the days of someone serving volume first and second serve? No, but I think it's certainly an era for people to come forward more.
Yeah, I agree with you,
Djokovic
Barry.
has talked about that.
yeah, there's no question that you have to play all court tennis, I think, to stand a chance of competing with the best players in the world. And as we go into this season and next season and the next 5 years or so, I think you're right, the transition game is going to become so important for these guys.
Rosol leads. So holding serve there again, edging ahead. Second set here pretty tight. 3-2 the lead for the Czech.
Because, Guy, we look at sort of, you know, who could make an impression this year on the top four. You know, Del Potro springs to mind.
It's one of the big questions, because you've got such a dominant top four. You've got a little bit, people kind of bunching behind, and you're wondering. You kind of wondered it last year, it didn't happen. But it's surely going to happen sooner rather than later. And I think the point that you make about this change in game style could be linked to it, because you look at some of the guys, Milos Raonic, who could come forward with his game. He can definitely do that. Ryan Harrison, even a smaller guy, but would like to do that as well. A few of the guys who people are tipping maybe to do it.
Well, Dimitrov's another one of those. And that's my slight... I mean, it is a very small question mark about Del Potro. I mean, Del Potro is an unbelievable tennis player, but I saw him at the Davis Cup final.
Yeah.
And for someone who has been a Grand Slam winner and has been a top 5 player, he doesn't volley anywhere near as well as he should do. And to keep hitting winners against the likes of Nadal and Djokovic and Murray and Federer on bad days, it is hard. Even you go as far, people like Ferrer.
Yeah, absolutely. One break of serve apiece here in the second set. So,
15 love.
Tough to beat Ferrer on a bad day if you don't come forward. That's an inverted commas bad day. Their bad day is different to our bad day.
30 love.
that is a gorgeous pickup from Rosol.
30-15.
Definitely worth another look, that one.
Volley of the day. It's not easy when you are 6'5" to bend down and hit with a touch like that. Good volley, only the third time he's come to the net in 50 minutes.
We can serve a bit more easily.
3 games.
Two straight breaks. 3 each now.
I've been reminded it's actually 4 because, of course, the coin toss.
Seriously though, Rosol's volley there, it just adds more evidence, I feel, to your point that he should be coming forward, especially if he can pull off shots like that one. He's got some ability there to do it. New balls for Rosol, 3 each, second set.
Love. Garcia-Lopez.
30-15. Does get on with it, doesn't he?
It's great. No complaints.
There we go. Both of them get on with it.
Now the 1 before the 17 for Rafa.
Third shot.
This is where the logical play would be to serve out wide again. Get Troicki on the stretch.
Game for Rosol. Really good, confident air about him at the moment. Knows he's in this set and in this match, very much so. 4-3 the lead for the Czech now. You talk about the big issues in the game, and you touch on it there, time between points. I know a lot of journalists, a lot of people feel that is a very important issue, because ultimately it's about the spectator experience, about people coming along, and players are taking so long in between. It just slows everything down, and you get, there's just no fluidity, no momentum about it.
Well, there's no excuse really if you hit a serve and a forehand, why it should then take you 25-30 seconds to hit your next serve. But if you're playing in the heat, potentially good down in Melbourne, and for the Grand Slams, there's only 20 seconds between points. That if you have a half a minute or a minute rally, that's where a little bit of common sense would be good.
Where we stand at the moment. Rosol 4-3 up on serve, 1 break of serve apiece in this second set. Troicki still a set to the good. Very tight though. This one could easily go to a deciding set, the way Rosol is playing right now.
A bit of momentum as well for Rosol. First point, big game. Troicki, he'll hope he can find a couple of big first serves to relieve the pressure.
There's one of them.
And Jason and you, Guy, were talking in the opening set about the serve, and you look at the service speed, and it isn't that fast. It's not clocking over 200. It's heavy. You really feel that court side.
30-15.
Yeah, I remember watching him, got a very, very good viewpoint at the French Open, watching him against Murray, a match that Murray came back to win. Troicki should have won that match, but when Troicki was giving him problems, that's one of the things. Murray, such a good returner, but it's difficult to pick up that ball sometimes from the serve.
Oh, is that
Troicki challenging ball on left knee.
Seems to think so. Let's clip some of the line, that one.
Replay points. 30-15.
You're going back to the serve. It's like you often talk about in cricket with a fast bowler. It's that bowler that hits the deck hard.
Net for service.
Yeah, the heavy ball is the expression.
Third shot.
I think also, Barry, it's the fact that he's got a very low ball toss and a quick motion. So as a returner, you don't have much time to actually get a lead on where he's going to serve the ball. So often we've seen Rosol not even leaning in that direction. So that's often a very, very difficult serve to return when you don't have a lot of time to actually see where it's going.
From Rosol.
30-40.
And it was very much a case that Troicki was saying to his opponent, what have you got? Have you got the quality and the nerve to take the ball on? He certainly did.
Suggested that this set might go the way of Rosol. If you can take this chance, it may well do. Break point. Troicki then steps up to fine effect to save it. You know, another point on that ball toss as he fires that ace away. I mentioned Murray because Murray's considered one of the best returners out there, not the best returner, and he was struggling to pick up that toss. It's the point Jason makes. It suggests that it is a real weapon, that for Troicki, that element of it. Because technically, of course, it isn't what you'd necessarily teach.
No. But he's gone in his shell from the back of the court, Troicki, and it's cost him again.
Advantage, Rosol.
Second break point of the game for Rosol. Okay, broken serve once so far. Second chance of this game. To go a break clear in this second set now from a break down.
And the big points in this game that Troicki has preferred to serve to the forehand. Generally, on big points that I've seen, Troicki likes that wide serve. So he's definitely thinking about the weaker wing of his opponent.
It's well done, a little reaction from the Serbians. He saves that second break point there.
Juice.
The biggest difference for Troicki in this second set is the points won on second serve. Still the same numbers on first serve.
Advantage, Troicki.
Well, he waited for that backhand approach. He let the ball drop a touch. It was almost I'm not sure what shot to hit. It felt long, Guy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Took an age, didn't it?
What's that? Yeah,
It's a big hold. Saves a couple of break points. How's that going to affect his opponent? 4 games each now, second set.
Yeah, good point, Guy. It's always at this stage, isn't it, where the lower ranked player, it's an examination of their state of mind. You know, having not been able to break, and it was good play, wasn't it, from Troicki to save those couple of break points and good first serves. If he doesn't win this first point, you fear for his chances. We talk about Troicki being a top player. Guarantee a top player would not have made, you know, a really top 5, top 6 would not have made that loose error on that forehand, first point of the game. That might be long as well.
sure.
30 love.
Letting it go. With Troicki, because we say he played the break points very well. He did, but he was also in falling break point down, very passive at the same time, waiting for Rosol to make the errors. And this game here, very loose, as you say, not just making errors that, if he's got ambitions to go a lot higher, he just can't simply afford to do against the better players.
Game, Rosol.
Love game. Rosol responds well. The missed chances of the previous Troicki's, and will be the Serb who'll have to serve to stay in this second set shortly at 4-5 down.
It was a good service game for Rosol, and that will do his belief the world of good. The fact that he failed to break and he came back and held serve to love, but it was a bizarre, strange last serve. I think he hit it the other way. It certainly appeared that he got a bit of side spin on it. He did. He hit across it.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, Barry, because I saw that down here courtside and I couldn't quite believe what I'd just seen. And you're absolutely right, just threw in a bit of variation there. But I think that also is an indication of just how confident he is towards the tail end of this second set. He feels a lot better about his game than he did in the first.
He almost went for the outswinger instead of the inswinger. It Fox Troicki.
Time.
Very much the business end of this second set right now. So 2 chances he had in Troicki's previous game to break serve, couldn't take them. He's still in a handy position here. Troicki serving to stay in the set, 4-5.
15 love.
72% first served in this second set, Troicki. That's great serving.
30 love.
It's at this stage, guy, where you do your shoelaces or something. Make him wait.
Into double figures on the ace count now. And another.
Could it be the golden game? Yay!
Full house. Take a bow.
Five games on.
45 seconds. That's nice if you can do it like that.
I'm not criticising, but if you're the public, that's where you want to see a bit of emotion. We might only see that. We might not see that again this year.
Yeah.
You know, to actually see a golden game, 4 aces, play to the crowd a bit.
There's a couple of things there. First of all, the role of being an entertainment activity here, but also as well, it could just be the difference. Get a bit of adrenaline pumping.
Yep.
I mean, this is a tight set. It could just be the difference, just to get him over the winning line. Just reminds us again what he's about, the talent he possesses.
30-15.
That's a quality point. That's what Troicki can do. He can make you hit 4, 5, 6 good shots, and he held his nerve to the Czech number 3.
Challenging, it's a bad leave.
Yeah, we got the feeling it was a leave, wasn't it, Guy?
It's those cricketing expressions again. Bad leave.
And a big improvement and a big adjustment in the second set, and being more aggressive, coming forward. Twice he came to net in the opening set. 8 times already in the second.
Mr. Troicki's challenge call on left serve. The
challenge they've both not been afraid to.
Stands. Game.
Good stuff here from Rosol. Troicki to serve again to stay in the set for a second time at 5-6.
Yeah, Barry, just going back to that game of aces there, couldn't agree more in terms of, you know, just playing to the crowd a little bit, because we don't see that very often, and I think it would have lifted the crowd, it would have lifted him, given him a better opportunity to gain the upper hand in this set. But I was watching Rosol trying to return each and every one of those serves, and to his credit, he did take up a different position on the 3rd point of the game. He tried to take the ball a lot earlier, but it was interesting. Out of the 4, I don't think he went the right direction on one of them. So he's really struggling with reading that Troicki serve. And of course, if that's the case, then it's always going to be tough.
Eye or not splitting, not split step?
Well, he's a little upright when he's looking for the return, and you see a lot of great returners like Agassi where they've got their feet firmly on the floor all the time and they're not really moving at all before they attempt to just slightly move forwards. There's a lot of movement from Rosol. He's up and down, high on the toes, and I think sometimes, even if he does read the serve, he hasn't actually got back on the floor before the ball's past him. So I think he's got to work a little bit on his technique when he's trying to return big service.
Time.
Fans of all ages here. It's even lovely to see. Serving to stay in this second set for a second time, Troicki.
The little girl had just seen herself on the screen. Probably a good job with her reaction that she didn't know that she was going to the world.
15 knots.
Only won 1 point out of 8 on second serve in this second set. He really has taken time away from Troicki with the quality of those returns.
30-15.
There'll be a tie-break then to decide this second set. Kind of seems fair in a way. It's been a very tightly contested, competitive set of tennis. You still don't really know which way it's going to go.
In terms of the quality, in terms of the tennis, even, what will decide it is the belief factor. Can Rosol continue to play with the same freedom? That's a positive start and a positive reaction after he won the point as well, to sort of say to his opponent, I'm ready. And he's forced that double fault by those great stats that he's built up in the second set. Troicki was probably not aware that it was only 1 from 9 as he hit that second serve, but he certainly knew that he was getting punished.
The first double in the match that he served, believe it to be. Terrible time to have produced it. 2-1. Follows it up with ace number 13. Just got to be so impressed with this man. What he's producing here in the tiebreak so far.
3-1.
Heeding your words, Barry. Heeding Jason's words as well.
Well, that was an amazing forehand to generate the pace that he was able to do, low, down the line. He cannot afford to lose focus for 1 point, because that will allow Troicki back in the breaker. Unfortunately.
3-2.
Exactly what's happened. Second double of the set for the Czech, 4th overall. Back on serve now. Troicki back on terms in the second set tie-break, back from the mini breakdown. 3 each as they cross for the first time in this second set tie-break. Super stuff. Producing it at just the right moment, Troicki there.
4-3. Troicki.
It just arced away, didn't it? Talk about the concentration, Barry.
5-3.
Yeah, he's played the score. Slava Dosodal, his coach, who was a very good player. He's also a very good player. And one who played with a lot of charisma as well, Yunus Elonui, a former champion. Invited back to celebrate the 20th year.
He's enjoyed himself in those longer rallies, going over the 8-9 shot range. Really profited.
5-4. Troicki.
Yeah, something that I would have thought at the start of the match would favour Troicki. So it's remarkable that he's won 12 out of those 14 points over 8 shots.
Get a challenge here.
Rosol is challenging a ball on the right serve. The ball was caught in.
It's incredible serving.
It's caught stand as well. 6-4. Troicki.
Match point now for Troicki. Oh, fine way to finish it off. Super stuff. Up and down from Troicki. But he gets it done.
6-4.
The tie-break. He gets it done in straight sets here. Spirited effort, particularly in the second set from Lukas Rosol, but it is Troicki, the 5th seed. Hour and 18 minutes it's taken him to move through to round 2, 4 and 6.
Well, when he won the match, he hit the ball into the crowd to his Serbian fans, and his camp will also be delighted that he came through that. It's never easy having had time away at the end of the season to feel that you can handle the pressure moments, but Troicki certainly did that in the tiebreak. He was down, what was he, 3-1? The momentum was with Rosol. I was impressed with the way he played, but for the Czech player, needs to try and play as many events as he can on the main tour to try and build that confidence, but he's got plenty of ability.
Good effort that from Lukas Rosol. Just in the end, as you say, a bit of little concentration lapses, and it's enough to lose the match.
Often what separates the good players from the great players.
Robbie Koenig is courtside, on court, waiting to speak to the winner here of this second match of the day. Viktor Troicki now with Robbie Koenig.
First match of the year, Victor. You've got to be pretty happy about that.
Definitely. It was tough since it was the first match of the year, and I think we both played pretty good. I'm happy that I won in 2 sets and that I'm through in the second round.
And it's never easy to play somebody that you haven't played for the first time. Lukas got a pretty big game. He was able to boss you a bit, but I think you've got to be happy with the way you served. 3-4 down, a couple of break points there. You served really well. Next game, a couple of aces. And I think when it really mattered in the tiebreaker as well, you came up with the goods.
Yeah, definitely. I served throughout the whole match. I served great, especially when I was in trouble in the second set. Definitely helped me a lot today, and hopefully it will last for the whole tournament.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our winner, Viktor Troicki.
Thoughts there of Viktor Troicki speaking to Robbie Koenig, called after that straight sets victory, an hour and 18 minutes over the Czech Republic's Lukas Rosol. Troicki, the winner there in straight sets, winning that second set on the tiebreak. Tied affair, Barry Better getting it done.
Well, 90% points won on first serve really does highlight, I think, why the match was probably won and why Rosol wasn't able to at least take a set. I mean, it's brilliant numbers, serve well, but it's an area that the Czech player can improve, the ability to just try and get a few more balls back into play. I don't think on an outdoor hard court at night, a player should be serving 16 aces, but certainly for Troicki, his first match of the season, I think he will be delighted with not just the win, but also the way the match panned out, the way he was able to come through and win on the tiebreak. And Rosol, if he can come to the net a little bit more than he did in the second set further down the line, then yeah, he's got a promising future.
Looking back there at that win for Viktor Troicki, he's booked his second round place, as you can see there in straight sets. Plays, I believe, no, these are two qualifiers who are going to play each other. Both have come through the qualifying, Matthias Passenger and Roberto Batista Agut of Spain. They will play, I believe, tomorrow, their first round match. The winner of that will play Troicki. And we've also got Becker and Knitze, who we see a little bit later on in their first round encounter. Gael Monfils will be playing later in the week. His opening rounder against Marie Machado. Troicki through there in the top half, through to the second round, the 5th seed, here in straight sets.
Victor's given him the runaround early on.
Oh, we have to work on the movement a little bit. I'll get the check to the coach.
It's going to be a few minutes pause here before the next match. It does follow pretty much straight on, but of course they need to get things underway here, get them set up for the next match. It features the 6th seed representing Russia now, Alex Bogomolov Jr. up against an Italian, Filippo Berlandri, bringing you that one next, the 3rd of our 4 matches here today on the centre court. As I say, in a few minutes' time we'll be back with that one.
They'll take pride of place in the mantelpiece at home. Signed ball by the Davis Cup champion. The tournament's number 5 seed is through to the next round. Thanks again to Viktor Troicki.